Hey guys, my name is Hannah and I would say let's have some fun today. Look what finally decided to arrive. It's been a long time, really a long time, since I ordered this one. It's not even funny anymore. Let's open this beauty. I think it don't need any more introduction because you probably already saw really many videos on it, but I really wanted to do a look as well, especially because this palette of Bridgerton and Pat McGrath reminded me so much of Valentine's Day, and the whole theming of the palette reminds me of that. I really want to do a cute little Valentine's look with it. Side note, if you are seeing any glitter particles right now on my face, it's from my eyeshadow that I wore the whole day before, and so I tried to remove it as good as possible, but maybe there were some glitter particles that are left on my face. So I hope you're not bothered by that, so I'm sorry in advance for that. And everything else I have on my face right now I will list in the description box down below. So guys, about this beauty right here. Packaging beautiful, overall theming beautiful. Right off the bat I didn't saw the series. I know the series and I'm a little bit familiar with it, but I never watched it. I wasn't really that interested in it, to be honest. And this is a palette I didn't really ask for initially, but my boyfriend decided because you know how much I love Pat McGrath and her eyeshadow and her quality and her overall execution of everything she's doing. Because he knows, he decided to buy it for me for my birthday, and he bought it I think at initial launch day, but I joked a little bit around with him and said I wouldn't be surprised if it's coming when the second batch is on her website and she sells it again. And it wasn't even then here. It was here when she already had her second release date, and the palette is already up on her website again, and now it's also in my hands, so it took really a long time to get to me. But it's okay, because I initially didn't want to get this and it was a birthday gift. I was, to be honest, nonetheless really happy that it got to me, and I'm really happy with my little gift right here. So let's open it. It's looking like that. I think it's so beautiful. And the overall inside and the execution of everything looks so stunning and nice. I got it really today, and this is the first day I'm using it with you together, so it will be like a first impression with you together. And I really love the little embossments right here with the bees. I think it's so cute and beautiful. And from the top to the bottom, from left to right, we have the colors Iconic Ingenieur, Art of the Swoon, Regency Blue, Plum Regalia, Duchess Divinity, and Love Match. They are looking so stunning and beautiful, guys. I think I will have my fun with them for sure. But before we do this, I think you saw already so many videos if you are interested in this palette, but I also want to give my side here, if you know what I mean. And I really want to, because I noticed not many YouTubers or any YouTubers really are talking about that. It's really a small detail that I noticed, but I don't want to be nitpicky or something like that. But I noticed when you compare it with an other 6-pan palette, wait, I show you this one. I have right here the Rose Decadence palette, the 6-pan. It's this one. And here's the Diamonds of the First Water palette. So right off the bat you can see that the pan sizes are smaller, and this one have a shelf life of 18 months, and the regular 6 pans of her have a shelf life of 12 months. So here you have a little bit more of shelf life. This is good. But what I noticed, it's really a small thing, but I think I like this a little bit more in her older palettes. The closure is a little bit thicker here, so you have more hold when you are opening it. Here you have a thicker and a little bit bigger closure, And if we are comparing it to her new palette, then you can see that the closure is really thin. Really thin. And this is something I think it's bothering me a little bit. It's really not that big, but it's a little bit harder that way to open this palette, to be honest. Because you really have such a small space right here to work with when you want to open this one. So I think this is something I really prefer a little bit more in her older 6 pans, where you have a thicker and a little bigger closure right here, so that you have enough space to open it faster. This is maybe just me, but this is something I noticed right off the bat, and something that is a little bit, yeah, it's bothering me a little bit, because I like the thicker version a little bit more, to be honest. But nonetheless, let's focus on the inside, and I think the inside is looking really beautiful. The packaging is the same as the outer packaging, as the normal outer packaging we have right here. So they're really very much the same. And on the back of the palette you have the shade names and the collaboration info stuff right here as well. So I would say let's do a live swatch. I haven't done this one, I think, ever, so let's do this now. So let's do this like before. I will go from the top to the bottom part, from left to right. And let's start with the color Iconic Ingenieur. I don't know how you call this, to be honest. But it's this really light, I would say inner cornery shade right here, like a champagne inner corner highlighter. The next color is Art of the Swoon. It's this lighter pinky shade, and this is one of her satiny-ish colors that are feeling really special and really soft to the touch right off the bat. And the shade everyone, I think, is excited about, it's Regency Blue. It's this really sparkly, especially bluish shade from her. So let's start with those 3 colors. We have Iconic Ingenieur. Oh my gosh, guys. My English is trash, to be honest. I'm so sorry about that. This is the first one. The inner corner shade. It's okay, it's an inner corner highlight. Nothing we haven't seen before. Next one is Art of Swoon. It's a really beautiful, you know how much I like pinky shades, and this is right up my alley. I love this one, and I think, of course, for my Valentine's Day look, I have to use this one. And we have Regency Blue. This is really a shade that's reminding me very much of her first ever Mothership palette, her big one. And I think this is really a shade that's also very likely in there. I don't have it, but I saw some videos by now because, you know, it took so long until it got to me, so I was forced to in the end. And I think this shade have a really similar feel to a special shade of this palette, and I'm all into it and all about it because I really wanted this palette as well for a very long time, so I'm happy to get a little glimpse of that in my Bridgerton palette right here. So let's remove the stuff from our hand and let's go to the second row, and we start with Plum Regalia. This beautiful brownish deepening shade. The next one is Duchess Divinity. I think this is a shade that I also have, that's my favorite shade in the Divine Rose 2 palette, and this one is really similar to that, I would say. And I have Love Match right here. It's this really beautiful reddish rosy tone, and I love it. This one I also have to use today, guys. This is so beautiful. I love such shades. So let's swatch. Start with Plum Regalia. Whoa, okay, this is really pigmented. I like it. Duchess Divinity. Yes, I love this shade. This is beautiful. This is creamy beautiful, rosy goodness right here, guys. But I think this is really a shade I also have in my Divine Rose 2 palette. But I'm not mad about it because I love such shades, so it's okay. And the last one is Love Match. I really have to use this one today, guys. This is so beautiful. I love this. It's a beautiful, beautiful pink. I love it. So here are all the colors swatched out. I'm really excited about it. I wouldn't think of it because initially I wasn't buying this one for me, like I told you, but now that I have it, I'm really excited to use it, and I think this is a palette I will really love and use very, very often, to be honest. Right off the upon first swatching, I think I really can say this is a good Pat McGrath quality eyeshadow. I wouldn't have think otherwise because, to be honest, I loved all of her eyeshadows. Let's get into the eye look, and I'm really excited about it. So guys, I zoomed you a little bit more in so that you can see everything better and clearer. And right off the bat, there are already so many looks that are created with the palette, so many pinky looks, so many brownish, purpley, pinky looks, glittery looks, and there's so much you can do with a 6 pan. So maybe my look that I will do today is already existing somewhere in the internet. I don't know. I'm really trying to do something innovative and my own style and look, and something I really like. But like I said, there's only so much you can do with a 6 pan. So if it's something you already saw somewhere, what can I do? It's a 6 pan, guys. Like I told you, I really want to do something more in the Valentine's Day direction because I'm really intrigued by this palette for that look, because this palette really reminds me of cute Valentine's palette with a little twist in it, and I'm really into it. So let's get started. I will start with the shade Art of the Swoon. It's this really, really cute bubblegummy pinky shade right here. And I will start with my Katie Huygens brush number 17 and load it up right there. And I will create maybe something like a halo. So let's start at the outer corner with this shade. Oh, and I prepped my eyes like I do every time with my NYX waterproof eyeshadow primer. I like to do that every eyeshadow I'm trying is having the same chance as my other eyeshadows. And the same color I took in the inner corner of my upper lid, and I'm blending it also out right there. This is a really, really cute bubblegummy pinky shade. I love it. It's not that bold. I thought it's a little bit bolder, to be honest, but it's really light and airy. I will do this also in my inner corner because I think this will tie the look really beautifully together, and it's giving the look a little something something, if you know what I mean. And I'm really into this around Valentine's, so I don't want boring, I don't want something everyone have, I want something that's a little bit peeking through, you know, because it's a fun day, and I think then you also should be allowed to have fun with your makeup a little bit more, so why not? And again, a little bit more in the inner corner, and I'm also going to my lower lash line, a little bit going into this again also, so that it's a little bit more tied together. So now I will go into the color Love Match. It's this really reddish tone right here, and I will go in there with a naked brush I have from a naked palette, and with the smaller side from the brush. It's a little bit more dense, and I will go in this reddish color right here, and I try to focus this color as near as possible on my lash line, on my upper lash line, so it's not overshadowing the whole bubblegum pinky look that I have going on right there. really try to focus this one mostly near my lash line. And the same with the other side. Of course, we will leave the middle part out because there the halo will shine in the end. So, and I think you all know which color I will use for that in the end. And the same this side. Here we can go a little bit more towards the inner corner and drag it out. And with the fluffier side, I will diffuse it a little bit right here. Maybe also a little bit here on my lower lash line with the reddish pinky tone, Love Match. I will close my halo theme if you want it like that. And also at my lower lash line, I will leave the middle part out. But before we come to the middle part of our eye, I will take a fluffier brush. It's a Morphe brush from Morphe and Jaclyn Hill. It's the JH45 from her. I like this brush very, very much. It's fluffy and dense at the same time. And I will go into this champagne tone right here, Iconic Ingenue. I'm so sorry, I don't know. This is a hard color. And I will put it under my eyebrow area to give it a little bit of a shine right there and make it all a little bit brighter. And I take also again a little bit on the same brush with the same color and also go into my inner corner with the brush to let it shine a little bit more. So now the color I'm really excited about, it's this one, Regency Blue. This really beautiful special shade from Pat McGrath. And I will go right into it with my middle finger. And this is our main focus for the whole look. So let's focus this one right in the middle. I will tap it. And then I will go upwards with it so that it really have its moment. Like that. It's so beautiful. I love blues. I love this formula from her so much. It's so beautiful. And then let's use the Naked brush again, and I will go into the color Love Match again, this reddish tone. I tap it really lightly in there and I will close the look with it a little bit more and tie it really good together. And with the fluffier side again, I will try to blur it a little bit out. The same brush, the Naked brush, with the denser side, and again into Regency Blue. And I will do the same on my lower lash line with it. Okay, I think here I should, oh god, it's going everywhere. Okay, I think I will use a denser brush, an even denser brush for there. I think I will use again a Morphe and Jaclyn Hill brush, and it's the 39, the number 39. And with this one I will go again into Regency Blue, but I will spritz it a little bit with my e.l.f. Makeup Mist and Set Spray, so it won't make a mess anymore. And with the sprayed brush I will go again into the color, so it's picking up as much as possible of the color. And I will focus it again right there in the middle part of my lower lash line and drop it a little bit down. So guys, yeah, I think this is my finished look. I'm really liking it. I will do quickly the other side and then I will be right back with the finished result. So guys, here's the finished look all zoomed out. I topped everything off with my Catrice lip pencil in the color Princess Cherry. It's a lip pencil, but I use it in my waterline to give this really nice overall reddish effect. And then I topped everything off again with my Pat McGrath Labs Dark Star Mascara. And on my lips I have also a Pat McGrath Mattetrance lipstick in the color Amour on my lips, and I paired this one together with a lip gloss, and it's the Opulust Gloss in the color Glowing Garnet, and I think it's a match made in heaven, if I can say so. I love this combo overall. So to the palette itself. I like it, guys. What can I say? I really like it. I think it's a cute, well-rounded up palette. Didn't use two colors. I didn't use the color Plum Regalia and Duchess Divinity. Those two I didn't use today because, to be honest, I didn't feel like it. I really wanted to have a really light, airy and reddish pinky look today, so therefore those two shades really didn't work for my vision today, for the look today. I'm sure maybe tomorrow I will use them as well and I will love them. But every other color I used and I really love it. I love this satin-like formula that she have in here. I'm really a big fan of that. This formula really reminding me of my formula in the Divine Rose 2 palette that she have in one color. Formula really reminds me of this formula in her palette, in her Mothership Divine Rose 2 palette. I think they are very similar to the feel, to the touch and to the overall applying experience, but I could be wrong. I think those are new formulas from her, but to be honest, those reminding me very, very much of this formula right here. But I'm a big fan of this color and I'm a big fan of those colors, so it's working out perfectly fine for me. Other than that, I'm really in love with this palette. I think, do we have colors like that already in our collection? Yes, maybe. It's really redundant of her. There are so many pinky and rosy tony shades, and I think we have, if you are a Pat McGrath collector or if you have many eyeshadow palettes from her like myself, I think I have a decent amount of eyeshadow palettes from her. I don't have every eyeshadow palette that she has, but I have a good amount of eyeshadow palettes from her because I really love and admire her brand very, very much. So those shades in particular aren't really that new or innovative for me, to be honest, but nonetheless, this palette as a whole, as a standout alone palette, is really beautiful and I'm in love with it. I think my look today I really would wear for a night out, for my Valentine's Day, or for Valentine's Day alone. If you don't have a partner, you can amp up yourself anyways, so this is nothing that should stop you from doing a Valentine's Day look, I think. Yeah, I really would wear this out. I think it's so beautiful. I love the color overall. I love the color combo overall. I really am in love with the blue. I don't have this particular blue from her for sure. I'm in love with this. It's depending how you are turning your head, and then you will see the blue more or less intense, but it's really shiny and it's really like her special formulas are. And I always like to describe them as little diamonds on your eyes almost. They look really like little glitter diamonds, and when you turn around they are really shining from the moon and back, if you want it like that. I'm really in love with it. I think the overall look, the overall feel, the touch of the palette, the execution from the outside and from the inside with the little bees and the little head that you have right here from, yeah, Bridgerton maybe, I don't know. But I'm really in love overall with the theming of the palette and with the overall color of the palette and colors of the palette. And I think for me it's a good and well-rounded up palette, so I don't feel the need to dip in other palettes, to be honest. And this is something I often really appreciate, because if I want to have it quick and easy for the day, I like to just stick to one palette mostly and just take my colors out from the one palette I have in the moment in my hands, and this is one of them. I think I can really create quick and easy looks with it, but also really fun, bright, colorful, happy looks with it, if you want it like that. So I think in that case it's a versatile palette, but I think it's, with the most 6-pan palettes, it's not versatile in that sense that you have so many color options and it's never ending. So I think at one point you will reach the same color combo that you maybe had in last month or something like that on your eyes, because there are just so much things, like I said, you can do with a 6-pan eyeshadow palette. And I think in that case you always will reach a point with a 6-pan where you can't create any more, especially every day. For your everyday wear, you can't create any more everyday looks that you didn't already have done in the past, if you know what I mean. So in that case, but I'm not mad about that, because I think it's a 6-pan, and for that I think nonetheless it's, in my opinion, somewhat really versatile in that sense. Yes, you have 2 pinks, but I think the pinks are really standing out for themselves enough to be different enough to you are able to make different looks with them. And the other shades also, the blue, the rosy tone, the brown, and the inner corner, for a good rounded up look. Yes, I think in that case, for me personally, the palette is versatile enough. Other than the shipping stuff that it's going on with Pat McGrath sometimes, and it's really annoying. And it's not just like me, because I'm from Germany. I hear so many YouTubers complaining that are actually in the UK, based in the UK, and they had to wait for such a long time as well. So this is a problem in itself, I would say. This is another thing, but the palette itself I'm really liking, and I'm happy I have it, and I can just say good things about it. So, summed up for me for the Pat McGrath and Bridgerton palette, diamond of the first water. Yeah guys, I hope you liked my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked this video, even though you maybe saw already so many Pat McGrath and Bridgerton related palette videos already. I hope you like it anyways, and yeah. I'm so happy, and I wanted to thank you again. I reached my 100 follower goal, and I have 100 followers now, and I'm really happy and excited about it, and I hope we will continue to grow. And with that being said, I would say we will see each other in my next video. Until then, bye guys.